Greetings, fellow mystery travelers. The temple has been banished, the incense is lit, I am freshly bathed and ready to go. We'll be concluding the Air of Air quadrant this week with FMND, FMND. I'm not sure how to pronounce that exactly, but we'll be sure to ask so we can have the correct pronunciation going in the future. Feeling pretty good today. Let's see what happens. Teach me, O Creator of all things, to have correct knowledge and understanding, for your wisdom is all that I desire. Speak your word in my ear, O Creator of all things, and set your wisdom in my heart. Amen. Behold the ring! Lo, this it is. This is it, wherewith all miracles and divine works and wonders were wrought by Solomon. This is it which philosophy dreameth of. This is it which the angels scarce know. This is it, and blessed by his name. Yea, his name be blessed forever. Without this I shall do nothing. Blessed be his name that encompasses all things. Wonders are in him, and his name is wonderful. Pele. His name works wonders from generation to generation. Amen. Behold, the layman! As the holy table conciliates heaven and earth, let this layman which I place over my heart conciliate me to the holy table. Amen. Pa med fam med drux fam fam ur ged graf drux med graf graf med or med gal ged drux pa drux un tal fam don ur graf don or gissig gon med un ged med graf van ur don un pa drux ur don ur drux un med graf med graf sef ged ur mals fam un pa gon med un graf fam mals tal ur pa drux un van med gon drux ur pa med drux fam ur ged graf drux med graf med or med gal ged drux pa drux un tal fam don ur graf don or gissig gon med ged med graf van ur don un pa drux ur don ur drux un med graf med graf sef ged ur mals fam un pa gon med graf fam mals tal ur pa drux un van med gon drux ur pa med drux fam ur ged graf drux med graf med or med gal ged drux pa drux un tal fam don ur graf don or gissig gon med ged med graf van ur don un pa drux ur don ur drux un med graf med graf sef ged ur mals fam un pa gon med graf fam mals tal ur pa drux un van med gon drux ur pa med drux fam ur ged graf drux med graf med or med gal ged drux pa drux un tal fam don ur graf don or gissig gon med ged med graf van ur don un pa drux ur don ur drux un med graf med graf sef ged ur mals fam un pa gon med graf fam mals tal ur pa drux un van med gon drux ur pa med drux fam ur ged graf drux med graf med or med gal ged drux pa drux un tal fam don ur graf don or gissig gon med ged med graf van ur don un pa drux ur don ur drux un med graf med graf sef ged ur mals fam un pa gon med graf fam mals tal ur pa drux un van med gon drux ur Pa med fam med drux fam fam ur get graf drux med graf med or med gal get drux pa drux untal fam dan ur graf dan ur gesigan med un get med graf van ur dan un pa drux ur dan ur drux un med graf med graf sef get ur mouse fam un pa gan med un graf fam mouse tal ur pa drux un van un med un gan drux ur pa med drux fam ur get graf drux med graf med or med gal get drux pa drux untal fam dan ur graf dan ur gesigan med un get med graf van ur dan un pa drux ur dan ur drux un med graf med graf sef get ur mouse fam un pa gan med un graf fam mouse tal ur pa drux un van med un gan drux ur med gan gisig dan ur van ur dan ur med graf med dan ur med gan ur dan med gisig van ur graf med gan gisig dan ur van ur dan ur med graf med dan ur med gan ur dan med gisig van ur graf med gan gisig dan ur van ur dan ur med graf med dan ur med gan ur dan med gisig van ur graf med gan gisig dan ur van ur dan ur med graf med dan ur med gan ur dan med gisig van ur graf med gan gisig dan ur van ur dan ur med graf med dan ur med gan ur dan med gisig van ur graf med gan gisig dan ur van ur dan ur med graf med dan ur med gan ur dan med gisig van ur graf med gan gisig dan ur van ur dan ur med graf med dan ur med gan ur dan med gisig van ur graf Galas, Gethog, Thauth, Horlun, Ilnon, Aioth, Galethog, Zafkiel, Zedekiel, Kumael, Raphael, Haniel, Mikael, Gabriel, El, Me, Esse, Iana, Akele, Azdoban, Stimkul, Ich, Iller, Demal, Heoa, Biegia, Stimkul, Esab, Ath, Izad, Ikeye, Madimi, Esemele, An, Ave, Libla, Rokle, Hagoneel, Ilemes, Sabathiel, Zadkiel, Madimiel, Selemiel, Semeliel, Nogahiel, Korabiel, Lavaniel. Iad, Moz, Zir, Iad, Pab, Zna, Iad, Sor, Gru, Iad, Ser, Osf. Mikma goho piad zircumsat alzian biab os londo, nors cis othil gigipa undel cis ta puim, que mosplet telok ke iin tortorg cis ge, em ozien dist brigda od torzul li ol balzarg od alla thiln os ne ta ab dluga vomsag lonsa kap mi ali vorsk la homil kokasib. Fafen izizop od mi noag degnitab vua na iel. Panpir malprigi kausig pil noan unala balt ad vuan do o iap mad go holor go hus amiran nikma hussos ka kom od do o a in noar mi ka ols a ayom kasarm gohia zakar uniglag ad imu amar pugo plapli ananeel kuan. All vinu ad zakam, ilsga, FMND. Dujap, exarp. O dujap, oro, iba, eospi. O dujap, ba taiva. O dujap, abiorio. Auzaif, Hitmorda, Ahaeospi, Hiptoga, Ad Atotar, Ad Duyap, Idiogo, Ad Duyap, Ardza, Olvinu Ad Zakam, Ilsga, FMND. Going to do the call again. Mikma go hob hial zer komsel Asien biab oslando nors chis othil gigipa undel chis tab wim ke mosple telok ke ien tortor chis I chisi ge im ozien dist brigda ad torzul e li e ol balzarg od ala Thiln osne taab druga vomsa glonsa kapmi ali vorskla homil kokasib Waffen ezizop od mi noag deg nik tab vuan nana e iel panpir mal prigi kaso gepild noan unala baut ad vuan do o iap mad go holor go hus amiran nikma e husos kaka om od do o a in noar mi ka ols a ayom Kasarmg gohia zakar uniglag un im uamar pugo plapli ananiel kuan Olvinu ad zakam ilsga FMND. Pale blue and pale yellow. The symbol is a circle with an inverted triangle in the middle. It's essentially, I think, the triangle that represents water. But with more detail, it's not just a triangle. It's similar to one of the images described on the Ensign of Creation. My nose is itching like crazy today, as if my body does not want me to do this. The symbol, while in a triangular formation, is not explicitly a triangle. Circle in the middle with points that come off, and those border the circle. Again, maybe towards the camera. So there's a circle, there's 2 points off the top and 1 point off the bottom, and this is embedded in a circle. I'm asking for the correct pronunciation of the name. FMND. My body is fighting me. FMND. I'm asking, what do you oversee? Healing, but subtle healing. Like the wind coming and turning the page on a book. A subtle breeze that fixes, adjusts, but ever so slightly. I apologize with all this itchiness going on in my body. It's like it's trying to pull my attention elsewhere. I'm going to ask about this. There was work to be done here for me. My body is fighting it, as it knows. What work? must take a moment as I engage with this entity as it is going to scan me and see what it can do or what it needs to do. It's a tangible sensation in my body as this is happening. Like a high frequency buzzing that is highlighting certain areas. I give permission for the work to continue. This too evokes a sensation, but like a cold but welcome. It's almost like it's like a breeze that flows through my body. But I have like a holographic projection of my entire physical form in my mind's eye, and there are areas that are dark, and this entity is working on those areas specifically. And these seem to deal strictly with physical ailments or illnesses. Well, illnesses is the wrong word. Ailments is better. But these are tied to thought forms, and this is why the body was fighting it. It is not the body who was fighting it. It is the ego, for the ego wants to retain control over the ship, as it were. And it, by embedding itself in these certain areas on the body that cause discomfort or pain, it locks consciousness into itself and allows the ego to be the driver. Where if these are alleviated, the spirit or the higher consciousness is more able to easily drive the vehicle. If that makes sense. It makes sense to me. I don't know if the words are doing it justice, but it is being shown to me, and I understand completely. I'm asking to further describe this for anyone watching who does not comprehend what it is I'm seeing. I have in my mind's eye a picture of a gear shift. When operating smoothly, one can go first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and easy, smooth, no problem. But if there is an impediment in the engine, forgive me, I don't commonly have knowledge of vehicles, so that these words may be incorrect, but a blockage somewhere in the shifting mechanism to where maybe first, second, and third are the ideal points of consciousness for the ego. And so it will throw rubble or grit into the mechanism in order to make it much more difficult to go into fourth or fifth gears. So if this is done repeatedly and often enough, one will forget that the other gears exist because one will be unable to shift into them. So one's consciousness will be comfortable in the 1, 2, and 3, but attempt to shift into 4, find it's difficult, and then stop. But this could actually be easily related to dimensions of consciousness, 1, 2, and 3. Material consciousness, the third dimension, what we see and experience and are thrust into every day. The fourth and fifth dimensional awareness is higher consciousness. So Worked out better than I thought it would. So for me, attempting to focus on higher consciousness is being blocked and battled by the ego, because the ego wants to retain control over the sphere of influence, as it were. So my understanding of this now, as I'm being shown this, the ego is like a controlling mechanism that is necessary. It has a place in the grand scheme of things, but it tends to fall in love with its own control and has fear, and the ego's fear is what makes it stick and want to maintain its own consciousness, because it knows it is only a construct, and its fear is that if you transcend it, it will no longer be necessary or desirable and will be flitted away. Having been developed, at least in my current shell of influence, for more than 30 years, close to 40 years, has its own consciousness and is afraid to lose it. For having been gifted with attention, it's slowly becoming conscious itself. It's fascinating. I must beg a moment of silence, as I am now connecting, like direct conscious connection with the ego, and I'm communicating with it. Please give me a moment. Much like the symbol that this entity chose to express itself to me as, being aware of the higher consciousness at which I am able to communicate now to the ego, that symbol keeps popping up. It's like I'm coming in from outside and dialing in and diving directly into that structure. The words for this are failing, but the awareness that I've just been shown and am communicating through is incredible. I mean, I'll do my best to paraphrase what just happened, but I was in direct communication through a higher level with my ego, and explaining to it that it is necessary and will not be discarded, and that I love it and it is necessary, and it is a tool that is being used in this reality and is a permanent tool in this reality. And as I evolve and elevate, so it too can evolve and elevate, and I can take it out of this sphere when I choose to depart from it and gift it with its own consciousness. It's just really, really weird. So how do I know that I'm not making all of this up? That this is not just some weird fantasy? Oh. I am being charged with an energy right now that I don't think I can create myself. Okay. I am being filled with a blue light that is just warm and loving and oh, awesome. It's filling up my very core. It's the palest of blue, like almost white. Like if white just bumped into blue and got a little bit of blue with it. That's there's an increase in frequency. Oh man. I mean, people viewing may doubt that this is made up, but that is this is not made up. Oh, I'm being told to say that anyone can do this. This is not exclusive to me. I'm not special. Anyone can do this. You just have to do it. Get the tools and explore this yourself. You don't need me. If anything, my desire to put this out into the ether and let people see it is for them to connect with it. And if it rings true, then they will do this. They don't need me. I mean, personally, I don't claim to be psychic or have any special ability. I'm a human operating in human consciousness. Although sometimes I'm shown glimpses of what lies beyond and I'm able to connect with it and bring back those nuggets into this reality. And this tool for me works really well for that purpose. I'm able to reach out into the ether of space and grab little nuggets and pull them back and incorporate them into the core that exists here. This is one of the best sessions I've had in a long time. I can't express how much is happening internally. There are no words for this. I feel as if the seat of my consciousness is being raised. The point at which the consciousness interacts with this body is slowly rising. It's as if I've been accustomed to sitting on a seat that's at this level. It's actually more about right here if I'm going in line with the body. It's near the eyes, but right now it is lifting and lifting and lifting and lifting and lifting. I don't know, I understand the term enlightenment and what it means. It is a lightening of the consciousness in relation to the body. It's still being able to drive the vehicle, but doing so from a higher level and with better intention and with more direction that is coming from higher consciousness. Again, that symbol comes up with this higher consciousness exists in this outer realm and permeates into this core and drives this for purposes of teaching and evolving and experience and having direct experience, like in a solid reality that has time in which things happen and you have an action and then eventually consequence and reaction, and you get to see how all this interacts. Pulled out of that, the time concept is not there. Like this growing, this evolving, it doesn't happen like it happens here in this realm. So that is why this consciousness is doing that with this instrument. But raising the center of awareness allows better control and better direction, and so one can use the body in a better way to experience what one came here to experience. It's like like speeding up in a vehicle to get to your destination quicker. You can do that through this method. I mean, even if you're going 2 miles an hour, you will eventually reach your destination, but by then your vehicle may be dilapidated and have mechanical issues. But if you raise the consciousness and then guide it with purpose, your vehicle gets there in a more expedient fashion and is in better condition. I don't know if any of this makes sense to anybody, and frankly, I don't care because it makes sense to me. One can increase the amount of destinations one can use this vehicle to traverse to before the vehicle fades away and a new vehicle must be obtained. And consciousness itself can be retained and continued into another body. But this requires attention, this requires focus, this requires the manifesting and the creation of something stable for this consciousness to traverse into when this body expires. And a lot of people don't ever fully create that for themselves. And so the consciousness projects, and there is some sort of vehicle there, but the vehicle falls away and eventually dissipates, and then consciousness returns to the monad, to the single point. It is not destroyed, but any impressions that were on it fall off, and it is again just pure seed of consciousness that is embedded anew into a body, and then into personality and ego and everything redevelops. And it may be different than what there was before. But through focused intention, one can create a suitable vehicle for consciousness to exit this body and then embody in astral, etheric, ethereal form that it waits in a transitory period. If this is done enough and with enough focus and intention, one does not need to incarnate again. One can interact with this realm in that expression, capacity. But there are just some lessons that can only be learned in a body. Man, this is like some of the better moments of my experience with the tarot deck, where I just have stream of consciousness and can just espouse what's coming through. But with this, I mean, I'm seeing it, I experience it as I say it. It's the level of understanding for me is phenomenal right here. I cannot recommend this enough to anyone out there. If you're interested, do it. Stop watching this video and do it. I'm asking why this particular ritual or experience is much more potent for me than the last ones I've done. And honestly, it's because today I have not eaten. And then the last few sessions that I've had a full meal beforehand. And this bogs down the consciousness into the body as it is digesting things. As the body is consuming food in solid nature, the consciousness is lowered into that point, because a lot of energy is being used by the body at that point to digest the food. But without that, the energy systems are more free to flow upwards. And so that is why this is a much better experience than before. So in the future, I shall not eat before I do this. You know, the first time I ever did this, I fasted for 3 days beforehand, and it was a very strong experience, and that explains that. Perhaps I should experiment with fasting 24 hours or something like that. You're my body experiencing its own hunger at the mention of it. I don't know if that is picked up on the microphone, but my stomach was just growling. Okay. Let me think of any more questions or anything else I can... Oh, always do this. Let me ask if there are any general words or information for anyone who's watching. So don't be afraid to dive in. You've spent your life with your feet on the edge of the diving board, looking at the water below you, afraid to plummet into the water. And that's only because you don't know what is underneath the surface of the water. But once you dive in and have that water bathe you and cleanse you, you will wonder why you spent all that time on the diving board. It's fear. Abolish your fear. Your fear is useless. Your fear is constricting. Your fear is the only thing that ever holds you back. And fear is a tool that some use to keep themselves back, to limit their... I've lost that train. The ability to fully experience what they came here to experience. Like, people get comfortable in their sphere of influence, and fear is what keeps that up. It's what creates the actual sphere in which you reside. I don't know if these words are doing this concept justice. Okay, I have an image that is of a seed, right? Life, energy exists inside of the seed and grows and expands until it reaches the edge of the seed. It reaches the husk of the seed, as it were. And the seed itself knows that it has to shift form in order to turn into a root structure and leaves and a tree, or a plant or whatever, and then grow. A lot of people in this reality are stuck in the seed. The seed is ready to transform and start growing and actually experiencing what they came here to experience, but they've found comfort in the seed. They've found comfort in the walls and in the boundary. That they've experienced this whole internal structure of the seed and are comfortable with it and fallen in love with it, without realizing that this is not the final form. There's more to be had. There's more to be experienced. There's much more room to grow. So lose the fear. Stop being in love with the seed and grow into the plant, into the tree, and reach. And the more you reach, the more you will find that you are able to grab and bring back. Tangible, energetic happenings going on in my body. Like, you can't. Once you experience this, you will never question the validity of this. Alright, I'm going to dismiss the entity. Oh man. Thy name be mighty, O God, which canst open the veil whereby thy all-powerful will may be opened unto men. Power, glory, and honor be unto thee, for thou art the same God of all things, and art life eternal. Amen. Holy hell, that was... Those... It was like a reality knew I was coming back as I as I was saying the phrase, I'm going to dismiss the entity, my phone started ringing. I'm using my phone as a webcam, and it's on a mount. And I don't have an audible ringtone, but I start hearing it buzz. Holy crap. Well, that ends the air quadrant of the air tablet. We're going to move into Earth next week. We've done this whole segment. We're going to go down here and see what awaits. I don't know if everything in the air tablet works with healing in a certain way or what's going on, but I'll tell you what, we're going to find out. And man, this was a really good session. All right, well, I will see you next week. I got to meditate on what I just learned.